The year is 4112. Humanity was a myth, a cautionary tale whispered in hushed tones by alien civilizations, a name invoked in both fear and awe. They were the ghosts of a forgotten war, the specters of a species that had dared to defy the galaxy's meticulously crafted order. 1,000 years ago, the conquered of species, a coalition of ancient, powerful races united by a singular, chilling purpose, had waged the purity war. Their goal: to cleanse the galaxy of chaos, violence, and the unpredictable variable that was humanity. The human race, in their defiant, relentless nature, had refused to yield. They had scorched star systems rather than kneel, their fury a wildfire consuming worlds that dared to stand against them. They had been a force of nature, untamed and untamable. And then they vanished. Like smoke into the void, their presence simply ceased. The galaxy, eager to restore its pristine order, breathed a collective sigh of relief. The conquered declared victory, the purity war concluded, and humanity was relegated to the annals of history, a cautionary tale of a species that had burned too brightly and consumed itself. The universe, they believed, was finally at peace, cleansed of its most chaotic element. But the galaxy had made a grave error. They had mistaken absence for extinction. They had mistaken silence for surrender. They had never truly understood the depth of humanity's resilience, nor the power of a promise made in the face of annihilation. Deep within the Perseus Rift, a region of space so desolate and warped that even the conquered of species avoided it, a forgotten signal stirred. It was a whisper at first, a faint pulse buried beneath millennia of cosmic silence. It emanated from the Eos Bastion, a colossal human war fortress, a testament to humanity's desperate defiance during the final, brutal battles of the Purity War. Lost and presumed destroyed, it had drifted in the void, a tomb holding the last vestiges of a species that refused to be erased. The signal, weak but persistent, bypassed the conquered's sophisticated detection grids, slipping through the cracks of their ordered universe. It was not a broadcast of aggression, but a message of remembrance, encoded in a language that resonated with the very core of human memory. For those who still remember, we never left. Inside the Eos Bastion, within the frigid embrace of a cryochamber, Captain Lyra Mendel stirred. Her body, preserved for over a millennium, began the slow, agonizing process of reawakening. The cold receded, replaced by a creeping warmth, then the jarring intrusion of consciousness. Her last memory was of fire, of screaming metal, of the desperate fight against overwhelming odds. Now she awoke to a silence that was deeper, more profound than any she had ever known. A silence that spoke not of peace, but of absence. Lyra Mendel's eyes snapped open, the cryo-mist dissipating around her. The chamber was stark, utilitarian, and eerily silent. Alarms, faint but insistent, began to chime. As the cryopod hissed open, she felt the unfamiliar weight of gravity, the chill of recycled air. Her body ached, 1,000 years of stillness protesting its reanimation. She was alive, but the world she awoke to was not the one she had left. The Eos Bastion's internal systems flickered to life, revealing a ship preserved in time, yet adrift in a reality that had moved on. Lyra accessed the ship's logs, her mind racing to piece together the lost millennium, the Purity War, the conquered, humanity's desperate stand. And then the silence. The conquered's victory, humanity's supposed extinction. She found fragmented data, corrupted transmissions, and the chilling pronouncements of the conquered's triumph. The galaxy had celebrated their demise. They had built monuments to humanity's absence. But the logs also spoke of the Eos Bastion's final, desperate mission: to activate the God-fear drive, a weapon of last resort, a weapon that consumed stars. It was a weapon of such terrifying power that its activation had been deemed an act of ultimate self-destruction, a final, suicidal act of defiance. Lyra looked out of the Bastion's viewport. The stars were different, dimmer, fewer. The vibrant tapestry of the galaxy she remembered was replaced by a somber, muted expanse. The conquered's purity had brought a chilling silence. A fear had settled over the galaxy, a fear born of the absence of humanity and the lingering memory of their destructive fury. Captain Lyra Mendel, the last commander of the Eos Bastion, stood on her bridge, a ghost awakened in a galaxy that had tried to bury her people. Her ship, once a symbol of humanity's destructive potential, now felt like a beacon in the encroaching darkness. The signal she had inadvertently reactivated upon awakening, "For those who still remember, we never left," had been a desperate, automated plea, a final echo of hope from a crew long dead. But now Lyra was here, and she remembered. The conquered of species, now a monolithic entity ruling a galaxy cowed into submission, detected the Eos Bastion's reawakening. The name human sent ripples of unease through their ancient, ordered minds. They had believed humanity extinguished, their chaotic influence purged. But the Bastion, a relic of humanity's most destructive era, had returned. Lyra accessed the Bastion's remaining archives. She saw the records of the Purity War, the Conquered's brutal campaign, and humanity's scorched earth refusal to surrender. She saw the faces of her crew, frozen in time, their last moments a testament to defiance. And she saw the Godfear drive not just a weapon but a key, a device capable of consuming a star and in its place, igniting a new one. It was a weapon of ultimate creation, born from the ashes of ultimate destruction. The Conquered's fleets began to mobilize, their objective clear: silence the Bastion, extinguish this resurrected anomaly before it could reignite the chaos they had worked so hard to suppress. But Lyra and her awakened crew had a different purpose. They were not here to conquer but to remind, to show the galaxy that humanity was not just a force of destruction, but a force of creation, a testament to life's enduring power. The Eos Bastion, a ghost ship awakened, became a symbol of rebellion. Its very existence was an affront to the Conquered's thousand-year reign of sterile silence. As conquered fleets converged, their pristine vessels radiating an aura of cold, calculated order, Lyra Mendel made an impossible decision. Her crew, a handful of awakened soldiers and technicians, looked to her, their faces etched with the grim determination of those who had nothing left to lose. "They want silence," Lyra stated, her voice echoing with the authority of a lost era. "They want to erase the memory of our struggle, our defiance. They believe they have cleansed the galaxy." She gestured towards the Godfire drive's activation sequence on the main console. "But they don't understand. Where they bring death, we bring creation." The Godfire drive was not a weapon of conquest. It was a message, a testament to humanity's dual nature, their capacity for terrible destruction, yes, but also their profound ability to create, to endure, to ignite life even in the face of oblivion. Lyra ordered the activation sequence initiated. The Bastion maneuvered towards a dying, red dwarf star on the edge of conquered space, a star whose light was fading, destined to collapse into a cold, dead cinder. The conquered fleets moved to intercept, their weapons systems powering up, ready to obliterate the human fortress. But they were too late. As the conquered ships closed in, the Eos Bastion plunged towards the dying star. A blinding flash erupted, not of destruction, but of incandescent light. The red dwarf, instead of collapsing, flared with renewed vigor, igniting into a brilliant, vibrant blue-white sun. A new star was born from the ashes of the old. The birth of the new sun in the heart of conquered space sent shockwaves through the galaxy. It was an event that defied all known laws of astrophysics, all the Conquered's carefully calculated order. Dead stars did not reignite. Black holes did not collapse into light. Yet it had happened, and the source was the Eos Bastion, the resurrected ghost of humanity. The conquered fleets, caught off guard, hesitated. Their protocols had no answer for this. This was not war, it was creation. It was a defiance so profound, so fundamentally alien to their understanding of the universe, that it bordered on the divine. They had sought to erase humanity, to silence their chaotic influence, but instead humanity had returned as a force of cosmic renewal. Lyra Mendel, her face illuminated by the light of the newly born star, initiated a galaxy-wide broadcast. It bypassed conquered channels, resonating directly with the minds of sentient beings across countless worlds, a message carried on the light of the new sun. It was not a declaration of war, but a statement of existence. "You tried to end us," Lyra's voice, amplified by the Godfire Drive's power, echoed across the void. "You sought to silence our memory, to erase our struggle. But where you bring death, we bring creation. This is not vengeance. This is remembrance." The message continued, carrying the weight of 1,000 years of silence and the fire of a reborn species. "We are humanity. We are the spark that endures. We are the ones who write with fire." The galaxy witnessed something it could not comprehend. Dead suns reignited, black holes collapsed into nascent stars, and the Eos Bastion, a beacon of defiant creation, moved through the void, leaving a trail of newly born stars in its wake. Human voices, once silenced, now echoed across the cosmos, not as conquerors but as creators, as living testaments to life's enduring power. The conquered of species, their authority shaken, their ordered universe thrown into disarray, gathered their remaining fleets. They could not comprehend this new humanity, a species that wielded destruction not for conquest, but for creation, whose very existence defied their laws of physics and their philosophy of sterile order. They saw not a threat to be eliminated, but a phenomenon that challenged their very understanding of the universe. As the conquered fleets converged, their intentions unclear, to stop this cosmic anomaly, or perhaps, to understand it, Lyra Mendel broadcast one final transmission. It was not a threat but a prophecy. "This isn't vengeance," her voice, calm yet filled with the power of the stars she had ignited, resonated across the void. "This is remembrance. We are humanity and we write with fire." The stars themselves seemed to tremble. The ancient, silent celestial bodies, witnesses to eons of cosmic order, now felt the stirrings of something new, something unpredictable. The conquered, the empires, the very fabric of the galaxy, felt a tremor of fear unlike any they had known. For the first time in eons, the universe, accustomed to its predictable silence, found itself begging for mercy, not from a destructive force, but from the overwhelming, awe-inspiring power of life reborn. The conquered fleets did not attack. They could not. Faced with a force that defied their logic and their understanding of existence, they could only watch, paralyzed by a mixture of fear and existential awe. Humanity, the species they had tried to erase, had returned not as conquerors, but as creators, rewriting the very laws of the cosmos with fire and light. Lyra Mendel, standing on the bridge of the Eos Bastion, now bathed in the brilliant light of a newly born sun, felt a profound sense of peace. They had not sought to destroy the conquered, but to remind the galaxy of what it had lost, the vibrant, chaotic, creative force that was humanity. Their actions were not an act of war, but an act of remembrance, a testament to their enduring spirit. The Godfire Drive, its purpose fulfilled, pulsed gently. It had consumed a dying star, yes, but in doing so, it had ignited hope, defiance, and a new understanding of life's potential. The galaxy, once a place of sterile order and silent fear, was now alive with the echoes of humanity's fire. News of humanity's return spread like wildfire. Other species, long oppressed by the conquered's rigid rule, began to stir, inspired by the defiant act of creation. The humans, once a whispered curse, were now a symbol of hope, a phenomenon that proved that even in the face of annihilation, life, in its most chaotic and beautiful form, could endure and even create anew. The conquered of species, their authority irrevocably broken, retreated into their ordered enclaves, their reign of silence shattered. The galaxy, no longer begging for mercy, began to tremble with a different emotion: anticipation. The era of human remembrance had begun, and the universe, for the first time in eons, was truly alive with the fire of creation. Lyra Mendel and her crew, the last vestiges of a forgotten past, had become the architects of a new future, proving that humanity's greatest strength lay not in its ability to destroy, but in its power to ignite.